for the first year, there isn't any choice. You just have to learn like essentially all the fundamental things you need for the rest of the degree in the maths courses and not choice. The other courses have more choice. Then in this, yeah, it's quite atypical because you have to study for all the courses, but then you get to choose which ones to revise for the exams. You can choose only to revise the courses you're strong in. And then, yeah, the second year, I had much more choice. There was this person called the director of studies who's supposed to be your academic advisor, and you go to them to ask for advice on which courses to take, and they'll want to organize your supervisions for you as well.
Right. So how did you explore your interest in math, and where is it headed next? Like in your final year, what do you think it culminates into? Is it a dissertation? What are the topics that you're exploring? And what are the applications of those topics?
Okay, so in my first and second years, I really just like went with the attitude of let me just explore everything that there is out there before singling in on a single interest. I did an internship doing natural language processing. That was quite interesting, but I guess that was more exploratory. I'm not that interested in that. In the future, in the next year, I'm going to take mostly statistics courses. And something that's really caught my eye recently is causality and causal inference. And how do you deduce causal relationships from data? And I think I'll explore that quite a bit further.
Fantastic. These are obviously things that students don't get introduced to in high school in some sense. But if you were going that path of studying causality, can you describe it a little bit more in the real world? How does that translate, and what kind of applications that could have in statistics?
Sorry, you're talking about the path to learning it, or the path
to
it's
applying
used?
it? Yeah,
Okay.
how it's used. Yeah.
I guess I don't know enough about it to give a definitive answer, but I think there are certain programming language like scripts that people have written already, which let you build uh, causal diagrams, which are a useful way to reason about causal systems. And uh, yeah, actually, I don't have enough information to really
That's
answer
fine.
this. Yeah.
Right. So obviously, there's a lot of theoretical math sort of bubble that students are in. Obviously, there's a chance that you'll strike upon something which is fantastic. But is there too much pressure to be in this very academic environment where everyone's trying to figure out the next big thing? How do you, as a person, deal with your academic load, and how do you plan to do that in the future?
Yeah, it is quite, I guess, in a sense, competitive in maths, um, especially at Cambridge. But there are many people who aren't nearly as competitive as some others, and I guess I hang around more with the less competitive ones. That's been, I guess, good for managing my stress from that. But I think there might be, I guess, theoretical math in that whole bubble. There's lots of competition in the very currently trendy areas. Like there's certain things which are like extremely popular right now, like algebraic geometry is one of them, and the rest, like there's lots of other things, like which splinter off into some other subjects as well, which are less competitive and much more about, I think, much easier to get a foothold into.
Fantastic. So do you see Cambridge, and particularly the math department, helping you sort of take electives in other departments? Like in the US, you have that flexibility, and people sort of value studying a philosophy while doing a computer science major. What is it that you can explore officially? And of course, there are so many speakers coming on campus. All those opportunities obviously exist. But what about the flexibility that's in the system?
So officially, I don't think. Okay, so there's not much flexibility in the maths course, at least, to formally take a course from another subject. But like something that I have done, which is possible, is just to attend the lectures of a certain subject in a different course. And yeah, you're allowed to attend the lectures for any course you want without signing up or anything. You just walk in. But I don't think there's many official channels through which you can like actually take the exams of the course.
Sure. What about your final year? You'll be headed back whenever uh, colleges invite students back in person. But is your final year a lot different from the first 2 years in terms of expectations from students?
I don't think it's very different. No, I mean, I guess you're supposed to be more independent because the course is not as structured at that point, and you have to choose for yourself how many courses as well this time. Because in the first year you have to do eight courses in total, and then in the second year as well, like everybody basically does between 8 to 12, which isn't much choice. But now there are some people who do like 25 courses in the third year, and some people who just focus on eight again, and there's a wide range of like I guess flexibility in the course at this point. So
Okay, great.
it becomes much
So
more personal.
yeah, so
There's much more responsibility, I guess, on yourself there.
sure. So where do you see this leading you to in terms of? I know you don't have a definite answer for all of these questions, but in general, what do math majors from Cambridge end up doing? What are the different tracks? Not necessarily you, but
Mhm.
what have you seen other people do?
Yeah,
See,
I mean, personally, I've seen mostly people going into quantitative finance, things like that. There's lots of firms which hire for those things, maths majors for those things. Uh, I've looked at like statistics and where people go, and yeah, the biggest chunk of it is financial jobs, and then involves like building mathematical models to optimally select a portfolio of certain assets. And then there's many people who go into research, so that would show up as people staying on to go for a PhD and stay in academia doing math research. A lot of people also go into computer programming, computer science.
so where are you? Which path do you think you'll be choosing?
Well, the path is kind of a mixture of those three, really. Hang
Okay.
on one second. A dog opened my door. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine. So a mixture of three. That's pretty interesting. So you could be working in a financial firm, doing a bit of like a lot of computer
No, I
science.
guess my plans are
Okay.
a mixture of those, not necessarily that I'll be doing all three. As
Okay.
in, depending on how stuff goes in the future, either financial stuff or stay on to do a PhD or